Welcome everyone to Gothy Roundtable, the official talk show of r/Goth. I'm Cadaver Kelly, and as always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Dave and DJ Carnivorous. Hi, Dave.
Hello, and
Hi,
good
Caroline.
evening.
Hello.
And this month, our topic is DIY, a very fun topic. Our guest this month is a mutual friend of mine and Caroline's. We are very excited to have her here. She runs an awesome YouTube channel, Goth YouTube channel called Skullgirdle RIP. Michelle, welcome to the round table. Tell us about your YouTube channel and any other projects you'd like to mention.
Hi, I go by Skullgirdle on YouTube, but my name is Michelle, so you may call me Michelle. I have a channel called Skullgirdle RIP that includes some DIYs, some vlogs, some me going to shows, concerts, etc. Maybe you could say a review or two, and talking about music. So it's probably 50% or so music and 50% other stuff, including some social issues that I talk about there. So that's about all I have going on publicly. I mean, I guess I do other stuff, but oh yeah, right. I knew I was forgetting something. I also write interviews slash reviews, etc. for Obscura Undead. Mostly print at this point.
And for those who are watching this back on my YouTube channel after the fact, I will link all of that in the description so you can check it out. Definitely check out Michelle's channel. And I always plug Obscura Undead. Caroline and I also do some writing for Obscura Undead. And Michelle, you're pretty well known on your channel for your DIY series, Dark and Lazy. So tell us a little bit about how that came about, how you started doing DIY videos.
Okay, so Dark and Lazy is satire. And what I had this concept one day, and I was probably at the grocery store with my best friend, because that's what gets me to go to the grocery store. And all of a sudden I thought, what if? What if? I was thinking about some project, and I don't remember what it was. Like, I know what it was. I bought this bag that was green and blue and black, green and turquoise and black. And it was perfectly pretty, but I wouldn't carry it because it wasn't quite satisfying. So I was like, it just needs to have this little bit done with a Sharpie and then something here. So I was like, I know, I'll make this video about it. And as I was thinking about how I was going to do the video, I thought Dark and Lazy, because so many people want that street cred of the DIY, the cult of DIY, but they don't want to actually do it. They just want to gripe about other people in the cult of DIY, or they don't have time, or they're terrified because they don't have the skills. And y'all, it takes a while and a lot of screw ups to do your DIYs. I mean, really, there's a lot of messing up. If you've ever cut up your first t-shirt, frequently they're unwearable, so I recommend plain or old, but there's a lot of fail. So I thought about this and I was like, what is the laziest way you could do this? Something I would never buy. Never buy it because, well, I can make a lot of stuff. I've been making stuff. I learned to embroider when I was 7. I learned to crochet when I was 6. I mean, I've just been doing this stuff forever. I have a degree in art. So I make stuff. It's my happy place. It's something that I like to do. So I won't buy a lot of that stuff that I consider low quality, like with Velcro clasps and just glued together. So as I thought of some of these ideas, I laughed my ass off because it's so easy, but you know it's going to fall apart at some point. So I just decided to make videos that are satire and making fun of myself while I make stuff and low tech. Low tech. Because a lot of things about my channel are low tech intentionally. I'm not trying to have highly well produced videos. I'm trying to have this could be your neighbor making this video. Um, I'll be honest, there's a lot more work behind that than you think, and there's a lot more skill to make your videos even when they look like crap, honestly. But yeah, it's actually satire, and there are people who just sometimes I wonder if they just wait for the next Dark and Lazy to come out. So there's like I think 11 or 12, and the problem came when I started doing more complicated DIYs that people called them Dark and Lazy. I was like, this is not dark. This is not dark and lazy, y'all. This took some serious effort to get this done. Anyway, so that's the long version of my story of Dark and Lazy.
Right. Awesome. Excellent. Um, really great series. I love all of your DIY videos, the dark and lazy and the skilled DIY videos. So with our topic here being DIY, Michelle, I know you came of age during a time that we would now call the second wave of goth.
Hmm.
How would you say the DIY culture was then, and how that compares to now? Do you think that DIY spirit is still alive in the modern goth and underground scene?
I think that it is, but there's a huge difference in that in the second wave was kind of the beginning of goth shops. Like most goth scenes
Right.
having a goth shop. Like in 1987, 88, there was a shop in downtown Dallas in what's now called Deep Ellum. It's gone mainstream. That's where a lot of goth stuff still happens, but it's pretty mainstream. But when there were like 5 clubs, and if you stepped 10 feet outside of the very safe zone, you were in serious danger. There was a shop called Moda that was snooty and so expensive. Like in 1987, 88, I don't, sometime before 1990, y'all. It could have been 89. I have no idea. 80, $90 for a shirt was incredible. It's expensive now.
Yeah.
So back then, it was like months to save up. I remember, well, they were also snotty. There was nothing, absolutely nothing that was anywhere close to plus size. I would say for them, their biggest size might have gone up to a US 14 or a 12 back then, and those sizes are bigger now. So all I had open to me was purses and shoes. So I bought shoes, even though they were snotty. And DIY was a necessity really because there just was nothing. So you go down to, and you're welcome to laugh, units. If anyone knows what units is, it was this ugly ass clothing that you could buy like all these different shapes and they would be matching fabrics, but they always had black. Um, everybody that I knew had at least one pair of Oxfords, the little dance Oxfords, the jazz shoe looking
Oh,
Oxfords that you
yeah.
see now. Standard. I love seeing pictures of the 80s. But I was also in a town 30 miles, 35 miles north of Dallas. So not only was I not in a massive world renowned goth culture at the time, I was north of it. So actually participating was pretty rare for me, and getting to any stores was pretty rare. So it was just throw together whatever you could find that was black and white, if that sounds right. People wore regular jean jackets. They'd be torn up with a bunch of buttons on them, but they were actual denim color. You would see people coming to the club sometimes from work. So there wouldn't be like a bunch of Susie Goths. That's what I call the Susie Goths. So we see so many photos from the 80s that are all Susie Goth because that's what photographers want to take pictures of. They don't want to take a picture of somebody who just came from work and just like teased up part of their hair or changed their necklace because that's all they had, because you have to carry all your shit around. And it was just totally different. And DIY was, if you wanted any part of the look, DIY was kind of necessary. Like you'd hoard anything with, you're going to laugh, glitter or black lipstick from Halloween. It literally was never out any other time. I mean, you set your eyeliner on fire. That comes from the
Oh,
70s,
yeah,
y'all.
with the
It's not just
lighter.
goth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get those red eyeliners still, and they will melt like a mofo for you and blend out and all that kind of stuff. So DIY just was kind of how it was. You'd get all these pieces and just throw them together. And so you'd like look enshrouded. And, there's a person online, Hedvig Funeral. She's a DJ. She's in Denmark. She is a lovely person. But if you look at her look, that is classic 80s. Classic 80s. Now she does the long and robed and shrouded. I am in love with her look. But what she wears is how 80s outfits were put together. Rosaries, the O-ring bracelets, the Madonna bracelets.
Oh, yeah.
Um, right. You would even see people with the bandanas around the wrist from the 70s, like this isn't a bandana, but the tied bandanas, just all sorts of weird shit. But the difference with goth and punk, obviously punks didn't usually wear all black. It was dying out at the time. It was very passe to be punk like people think of from King's Road. Isn't it King's Road in England? Like in
I'm
the
not.
old Gen X days. Um, that was passe. That was passe. You saw more like skinhead type punks.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, so you could absolutely tell the difference between a punk and a goth because goth's clothes were not as torn up usually, which is funny because the pantyhose being torn up, yes, and fishnet if you could get it, yes, because we shopped in lingerie stores. Those dog collars back then were dog collars. Fetish shops were the other place to get some of that stuff, but a lot of it was just to be like in your face and to look just this side of violent, I guess. That's my own mind. Everybody's different, and every scene was different.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty consistent with what I've heard other people say of that time
mhm,
period. And as far as the DIY ethos and culture today,
mhm.
how do you think the goth scene does with that? Do you think that goths are doing a good job of keeping like a DIY spirit alive in the modern scene?
Well, some definitely are. Um, oh, who's that woman? She's got a YouTube channel with the Death Hawk,
Oh, Madam
Madam
Absinthe.
Madam Absinthe, outstanding. But she's a fashion designer, so she is badassing that all over the place.
Oh yeah, she's
Most people,
awesome.
right? I do know some people that don't do any DIY, and you don't have to. I mean, there's no
Right.
requirement to be DIY. Goth is like this huge conglomeration of stuff that revolves around the music. If you listen to the music and then you can pick and choose from all this other shit, we're cool. Have the music, support the scene, and then add in a few other things. Welcome, be one of us. But the DIY, there's still a lot of it going on, but where we are lucky is that we can buy from DIY brands that are more available to all of us. Like my favorites are Junkyard Bat, who just released another collection.
Yeah. Use
I'm
code
sure you've
Cadaver to
seen.
get 10% off.
Oh,
Everyone.
okay. So yeah, I didn't realize that he had a sponsorship that you were sponsoring. That's cool. But those are DIY. Every link is made by hand. Those are DIY.
Yeah,
There is.
beautiful stuff.
Yep. I have a gorgeous necklace by Nina Masson, which is a painting of Peter Murphy. I didn't bring any of the other people's DIY because I have literally so much of my own.
Yeah.
Psychic Eye has collars, and they've put out a makeup line. That's not exactly DIY. I know that Caroline has some DIY stuff. Um, let's see, my Goth Destroyer shirt is a DIY. It was a gift. And let's see who else is out there.
Well, we've got
Horabelle,
Jez in
Bits
the
of
chat,
Curiosity.
Studio
Oh,
777 on Etsy.
right. I couldn't get to the chat. I'm gonna try again. But yeah, Jez. Oh well, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
actually
just got Jez to
wearing
help me with
a
something.
belt made by Jess today.
Oh, that's amazing. I have a choker that Jez made. It is so beautiful and I get so many compliments on it. And that thing is going to stand the test of time. It's got like the thick
Right.
leather strap. It's got very solid hardware.
Yeah.
Really
So the
quality
thing
stuff.
I've so to further answer your question, we are lucky that we can get truly DIY stuff. I mean, it's not DIY because I didn't make it, but I can buy things that are made with quality
Yeah.
because those brands I talked about, those are quality. Because I have Jez made a custom set of shoe covers for me because I can't wear most goth shoes. So I sent her a pair of sandals, and we went back and forth with this thing, and they are magnificent. And I want a belt like Caroline's, only with the spike pattern that Jez made for me, which is ridiculous and actually kind of scary. I don't know if I could get it through an airport. So, what we can buy is of better quality than what we would have made. Because if you've made your own DIY before you go to a show, like right before you go to a show, you know that sometimes you're lucky to get home with it intact. Have you ever gone to the bathroom and discovered the reason that you have this itch is because one of your safety pins opened up and is
Oh
jabbing
yeah.
you in the back?
Yes.
You literally have
Way
something
too
pinned
often.
onto right.
Yeah, I get
And
stabbed by the studs sometimes too. The pyramid studs, like one of them like bends open, and the like little
right.
stabby part of it is stabbing you.
Well, I put my friend Gem Tack, which works for almost everything I do. I put it on
Oh,
the
good
back of
tip.
those so because I got tired of them snagging all my clothes. Like I would lift my arm and all the bits of lace would just make stretches on my little sleeves.
Yeah, that's
So and it's
brilliant. Good hack.
it it works. It works really well. How do I get to the live video? Because it's not.
I have a
Oh
Twitch
God
up on
damn it!
another tab, and I just mute the Twitch.
Oh, we're in Twitch.
Yes,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
we are Father Eldritch on Twitch.
I was in YouTube, Kelly Cadaver Kelly, and I knew that father. Oh my God.
It's all right. It's all right. I yeah.
Activate my device.
This
I'm
is
if.
very DIY of us.
Yep, yep. When I started up this, actually talking about doing things that maybe shouldn't have done, I completely forgot about changing what the name of the stream would be, as well as the actual category. So when we started up, we
Okay.
were on a game, not podcast.
Right.
The game is called
I'm just gonna let
DIY.
y'all.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna let y'all know that I have to do this on my phone because Twitch wants me to verify my laptop that's been used for Twitch before.
Oh.
I'm just having a day,
Yeah,
y'all.
I'm on the chat on my
Yeah,
phone.
I'm on my phone with the old people version of the white.
Hi, people of the chat. Oh, DJ Kelly is in here. Hey, Kelly, the other Pittsburgh Kelly.
It's just
And now might be a good time to mention that DJ Kelly is going to be our guest next month. We're going to talk about building a local goth scene.
oh that's badass because we have to rebuild, y'all. We okay. I'm gonna try to not fog my glasses. Protect my little rash. Um, we have to rebuild. This scene
Yeah.
has to be rebuilt, and I'm really interested to see what happens in the next 2 or 3 years because we we went online fast. You want to talk
Yes.
DIY? This
Yeah,
shit we're
that is
doing right
very
now is a
DIY.
result of DIY. It's badass. I'm so excited by all this stuff on Twitch, even though I can't get Twitch to work for me very often, so I can't watch as much as I want. Oh y'all, I just I just fucked my glasses. I'm having a day, man. Is it Monday?
Almost.
Almost.
It's almost, yeah. Monday
Well,
come
you should know.
early.
You've seen my live streams before. You know that I bring an element of chaos. It's not
Perfect for a
intentional, y'all.
DIY episode. Very
Right?
Yeah, but
DIY.
I was totally prepared. I am surrounded by crap I've made. I had everything prepared. I got coffee. I got water. I'm all set. My glasses break.
Got to
Best way to
DIY
rebuild.
those.
Oh yeah, Metisense says that the best way to rebuild is to dismantle it by getting rid of barriers in music genre style. You know, that's a whole nother live stream.
Yeah, let's
You know.
let that's a can of worms that I don't know. I'm ready to open in this
Yeah, yeah.
episode.
Maybe not
Future
this
episode,
episode.
y'all. Future episode.
I
Yeah,
hope.
Yes.
I'm a big proponent of innovation when it comes to DIY, well, music and DIY. And so I am going to admit fully that I do not hate pastel goth at all. I hate people calling themselves pastel goth who aren't actually goth. But if you want to wear pastel shit, welcome to the party.
Exactly.
I
Oh
don't
yeah.
care. I don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
100%.
I know people who are into like the like also into the kawaii kind of like Japanese sort of like visual kei stuff, and they
Yep.
want to
Yep.
incorporate that, but they're part of the goth scene and they want to kind of like
Yep.
meld those two aesthetics together.
Yeah, and I personally I think it is very cute. It's not my style. My style is more like shred, rip, and chaos. But I love a really well put together kawaii. I think of them as kawaii goth, but pastel goth. I'm fine with it. Goth has always had color. That's another DIY thing that people don't do now. Like back then, you would go to a thrift store and you might find something that is not black but is old. Like lot more Victorian stuff was available because it was garbage to people back then. A lot of stuff from the 20s was garbage to people, and that's not always black. I mean, okay, Victorian, there's a good chance, but you'd find these gorgeous pieces, and you might just find a shawl and wrap it around your waist, but it wasn't black. You might wear it with black, and it was perfectly acceptable. Like tapestries, I'm thinking like golden and deep jewel tone type stuff has always
Oh
been
yeah.
acceptable. So people who think you have to wear all black all the time to be goth, I mean, it's insane. It's insane. There's like two things you have to do to be goth: listen to the music, support the subculture.
Yeah.
So all these
And
restrictions are weird. And
I
so
remember in the
limiting yourself.
2000s, neon came into play. There was like black and neon, not
Yep.
just, I know
Yep.
people do that in the like kind of like cyber rave scene, but in the actual goth scene, like some of that like
Hmm.
death rock revival. I know death rock's been alive the whole time, but the
Right.
revival portion was specifically in LA. The LA, there were new
Hmm.
death rock clubs again in LA for the first time in a while. And so that era in the 2000s, the death, what they call the death rock revival era, people had like I saw like neon colored like death hawks and like corsets with like
Yep.
the neon black
Yep.
corsets with the neon piping. I'm thinking
Hmm.
there is that model Razor Candy in the 2000s who had like some like black and pink death hawk and death rocker stuff going on.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, so neon was a big thing in the 80s too. You didn't really see it in the goth clubs because it was so mainstream that goths were like,
Right.
fuck that shit. But we're seeing a lot of 80s worship right now. And I think that that's making more DIY possible or probable. And also the COVID. Like for me, the COVID sucked away my creativity. I'm just be honest. I'm one of those people that the COVID, I wound up working hours on hours on hours at first, and then after that, I've been recovering from PTSD from that job for a while. So I have not had the output of creative endeavor that I have and will have again outside of mass pandemic
I think that's the case for
anxiety.
a lot of people. I
Hmm.
think some
Hmm.
people, it went one of two directions for a lot of people.
Yep.
People
Yep.
either because they had all this time, had this surge of creative output, and then
Hmm.
other
Hmm.
people just felt so worn down by the whole situation that they just didn't have the energy and the mental fortitude to work on creative stuff. They just didn't have it in them. And then
Right.
some people, I'm sure, went through phases back and forth between those two through the pandemic. So the DIY stuff, I'm sure there's some people who probably did a lot of DIYing. There's probably people who maybe are typically your DIY types who just didn't really have the energy or the mindset to work on
Yep.
projects.
Well, plus, I have to say, I don't know if this is the case for your YouTube, but my YouTube has been far more cruel. The comments have been a cesspool. I specifically spoke out against racism twice, and you know that that's open season, but I have found that the trolls are especially heavy in my channel these days. It's been a lot, more than usual. So I just don't want to I don't want to deal with them, honestly.
Right.
And I'm working on something that's been taking me a very long time. So I have multiple factors, but ultimately, eh, it'll be there when I'm ready for it.
Yeah. And that's kind of the great thing about like DIY culture as well. I go through phases. I go through periods of time
Hmm.
where I am doing a lot of DIY projects and I'm all about it. And then I'll go through other phases where I'm not working on as much DIY stuff. And it usually is like 1 year I'll be really on point with all the DIY.
Hmm.
I'll do a bunch of projects.
Same.
Then maybe the next year I'm not doing as much. But you know, I have all the stuff that I made the previous year to get me
Right,
through.
right,
um,
right. You can
Caroline,
always use it.
Caroline, you do a lot of DIYing yourself. You're
Hmm.
wearing, I see a what looks like a battle blazer. So do you find that's the case with
Yeah, I
you?
guess. I actually during the pandemic, it's been kind of both for me, kind of back and forth, yeah. But actually, the term battle blazer, I actually didn't hear that until like a couple of months ago. Somebody
Yep,
on
me either.
Gothy Discord was like, "Are battle blazers a thing?" And I'm like, I guess. Like,
Well,
I
it's
have a couple, but I
the
don't call
the
them
battle
Oh,
that.
I
is
do.
is all the patches and stuff from
Yeah,
the 70s biker culture. That's where the name comes from. So
yeah,
That's a new
Okay.
term.
But yeah,
That's
I don't really like call it that.
badass blazer.
Oh yeah, and the best
Where'd you get that
ever.
shirt?
It's made by DJ Cyberpagan. You can get it on his shop. I think it's death-rock.de, probably /shop. He has a lot of fun, punny
didn't realize.
designs. So
As She Passed
definitely check
Away
that out.
is
And,
that's pretty good. That's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
that's cute.
oh yeah, yeah. I can show what else is on this thing. Like, it's just
Oh, I
random
like your Vincent
patches,
Price
really.
patch.
Yeah, I
That's
haven't
very
seen that
cool.
one. Little painting.
Birthday present.
Are those all patches?
We got some
Those are enamel pins.
buttons.
Mm-hmm.
I found this in a
It's
toy
cute.
store, so I had to
He's
have him.
cute.
He's so cute.
I like the 3D elements.
All right, so we got the usual suspects there. Susie, the Cure.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Very nice.
And then
All
Yeah,
really
good,
a great
good design
picks.
on that back.
we got Shadow Walk.
It's a lot of work.
Thank you. I'm too small to wear back patches, so I have to just put a lot of small ones, which might as well because I can put more
There you go.
bands.
That's true. That's true.
And yeah, I have even more stuff over there we can show.
Yeah, so we do have a bunch of stuff to show. Maybe we can jump into some show and tell. Do we want to start with maybe stuff that we've made, and then we can move along to like supplies and stuff like that? I think that'll
Sounds like
be
a good idea.
start. So Michelle, you've got some previous DIY projects to show us. We'll start with you for maybe the first one or two that you want to show.
Okay, well, I'll show you my Wonder Woman bands. And this right here is a dark and lazy. And you can tell because it's Velcro. So it's ribbon with Velcro. Super ridiculous easy and actually better quality than I would have thought.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, because I couldn't find any wristbands that I liked. And it takes a really long time to wear in your leather. And you know, when you get rid of all your stuff and then you're like all of a sudden going, well, I finally am somewhere where I could wear this stuff more often. Then you buy leather and it takes forever to wear it in. You got to sweat a lot in it. And then I have this. I made this on a cruise, believe it or not. I'm going on a cruise with my family. And this is three kinds of lace, if you can see, barely. There, it's stretch lace. Whoops. And this, I think this
Very
is an
pretty.
underwear lace. It's all stretchy. And then inside, these are just studs. And you can't even tell, but they are glued, so they won't snag onto my fishnets. Let's see. Well, that's
That is a brilliant
two.
hack. That's a brilliant hack because I always have that issue with the fishnets and
Oh
the
man.
pyramid studs.
Yep. And I use pyramid studs extensively. I use them in almost everything.
We're talking about for anyone in the chat who hasn't
Yep.
done DIYs with pyramid studs. We're talking about these like studs. The way they work is they have these prongs on them, and you stab the prongs through a material, and then you bend them down. But sometimes they'll come up or they'll snag on stuff.
Yeah, I recommend using scissors, like a medium-sized pair of scissors to smush them down, because you will tear up. I always wind up using the backs of my nails, and it tears up your nails, and it makes the ends of your fingers feel like hamburger. I call them hamburger
Yep.
fingers when they really hurt for like a couple days. They're throbbing.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I had shrunk out of my battle vest, which had one hole. It was a jean jacket style vest, so one whole panel in the back was completely studded.
Oh, that must have taken
Several
so much
hundred.
time.
Yeah, well, it also had beads sewn on it, patches. So I cut the patches off, but somebody walked in somewhere and got a studded and beaded jean jacket and probably crapped their pants for their $2. But, you know, I shrank out of it and I wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, I've had that issue with the DIY projects. I have that right now where some of my jackets and vests and stuff are loose now, so I don't know if I'm going to tailor them or something. I'm going to figure out something with them.
Yeah.
Or maybe reuse the materials on a new jacket or vest. Let's move on to Dave because Dave, we haven't heard too much from you yet. Show us your first DIY project.
All right, so as I was talking about a little bit earlier before we started, I have about one thing because I can't find the others. So yeah, let me show you.
Well, let's see
More,
it.
more COVID casualties. You can't find all
Yep,
your cool stuff after
exactly.
using it.
So this is an old one of mine. Excuse the horrible paint on it, but anyway, let's see if it shows.
Oh, I'm so glad we have a painted jacket. Yes.
Yeah. So
Painted leather jacket.
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, I'm pretty proud of it. It's old as
Yeah, you
hell.
should be.
Great.
And then up here
I
it's
have a jacket ready for paint. So, what kind of paint do
nice.
you use when you paint your jackets?
This was just a common paint for clothes. I don't remember the name of it right now because I'm all out of it.
Okay.
But that's all I used,
Yeah.
and it's been holding up really well. Because I mean, I don't know how much you can see here, but Zombie Go Go, it's still looking strong.
Yeah, it looks great. Looks like you did it last week.
Yeah, right. And I think I've had this one for I don't know, 13, 14 years, if not more.
Holy shit.
So it's holding up very well. And then a classic there.
Wow.
Now I'm feeling zombified. And it has all kinds of horrible paints on it on the front here. With a whole bunch of both homemade and not homemade pins, of course. Because
That is
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
yeah, quite proud of it. It's yeah, old as heck, as I said, but
It's very death rock. That's really popular in the death rock scene is the painted leather jackets.
yes.
Oh, really? I don't think about it. I bought a leather jacket to paint, and I just haven't gotten around to paint it because I'm in Texas, and I didn't go outside last winter, and it's hot as shit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Freezing
guess
out,
being
though.
in that climate, there's not as much of a need for jackets. It gets cold around where I'm at. But definitely in the death rock scene, I see a lot of like painted jackets, death rock shows and stuff, and people will paint like death rock bands. It's really popular. I see specimen stuff painted a lot,
Yes.
and it's
Hmm.
probably because you can't really get official specimen merch. I don't know where I could buy official specimen merch. Maybe there is some out there, but
There
people
might
paint
be.
like the specimen stuff on leather jackets. I see people painting spider webs on a lot of stuff,
Hmm.
spider webs on like lapels of
Yeah.
leather jackets.
Well, it's easy and cute.
Oh,
Spider webs are easy, and they
there you
look
go.
fantastic.
Right?
So
Oh yeah,
Caroline, you
yeah.
want to show us your what you got over there, your jacket with the painted spider web lapels?
Sure. God, it's so fucking
she's like
stereotypical.
called
Oh my
out.
God.
It's a classic.
Yeah, but just because it's
There you go. No, I
stereotypical,
love it
yeah,
though.
classic, doesn't
Right?
mean it's not cute. Look at that.
I
That looks
love
great.
it.
Exactly. It looks
Oh, those
amazing.
are so good too. Yeah, you did such a great
Yeah,
job
that's
with those. And
Thank
call me out too because I have these sneakers that I
I have no spider anything. No spider anything. I'll be
I
honest, my
love it.
best friend is a arachnophobe, so I just don't use spiders.
Oh, that's
Because I don't want to
respectful of
freak.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Spending time with
same.
phobics.
So I'm okay
You don't
with
want to
spider
see the
webs,
actual
but not
spiders
actual
on them.
Yeah,
spiders.
spider webs will give her a little
No.
every once in a while. So I just stay away from them because you know, I spend a
Is
lot of time
that
with her
wait?
and I drag her to the golf club.
I
Is
actually
that
did
a
this.
Lebanon,
Lebanon
Hanover?
Hanover? Yeah, belt.
That is
Yep. I
that
did.
is
You
so
stuck
That is
clever.
amazing.
All
That
the
is
way back.
amazing. That's
Love it.
Gallow
Right.
dance. Gallow dance,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh right, under the skin.
So
Hell
this is,
yeah.
I guess, my kind of new band.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
that's
Anta,
badass.
she passed away. Under the Skin, Drab Majesty.
Yeah,
And
good
then
Very
just
choice.
nice.
random,
Oh, that's beautiful.
graveyard.
That
I
is
love it.
awesome.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
Thank
Well,
you.
I'm-
And this is like the first time I've ever painted anything.
Wow.
Most of
You
this
did an
was
amazing
freehand.
job.
I was terrified.
Yeah, yeah.
It's looking amazing.
Yeah.
It turned
Well,
out
I'm
so
feeling
good.
inspired.
Yeah. Well, since we talked about the spider webs, I will
Right.
talk about these sneakers. I did these on a DIY video on my YouTube channel. It was the first DIY video I ever did. And these I saw a bunch of demonias that had like spider webs. Like I saw a pair of demonia creepers that had spider webs on them, and I'm like those, and they were like $60 or $80. You know how demonias are, and I'm like you could make spider web shoes so easily. So I did these. I use white paint pens for the webs. And then
Super easy.
those lovely pyramid studs that we were talking about here. But the thing is, I have to wear regular socks. I can't wear stockings with these because of the pyramid studs. So now I
Right.
need to use your trick, Michelle. I need to put some gem tack in there and glue them so that way I can
Yep.
actually do
Well,
that.
and that way you can have a higher quality pair of shoes that are wearable for every day. Because if you're old or you've busted yourself up, because I've busted up feet, I can't wear 99% of Goth shoes. I can wear Pikes if I put a lot of money inside of them, which I have because they're beautiful. And when you go get higher quality shoes and do something small that you can wear them every day, all the time, and have a little something. And you can kind of get away with shoes if you can't get away with other Goth items. Not the giant boots, but like your shoes, Kelly. I could totally get away with those at work. Okay, I can get away with just about anything. I could go to work like this, but it
Oh
took a
yeah,
while to get there.
same. Tech life,
It's
working in tech.
man, it's fantastic. And one of my favorite things is when I go somewhere and it's automatically assumed I am a hairdresser or a
A tattoo
tattoo
artist. Yeah,
artist.
exactly. I say that too. I get
Right.
the exact same thing.
And I love and adore telling people I work in the corporate world.
Yeah.
And you know, most people don't understand what I'm talking about, like when I'm getting my car worked on. But yeah, telling people you work in the corporate world and et cetera, is a lot of fun. It's almost as much fun as when people look scared of you or they're laughing at you and you just smile and say hi in the most pleasant way possible and scare the shit out of them.
Yeah,
God, I love
subvert
doing
those
that.
expectations.
Right.
Yeah.
They wouldn't look like that if they didn't want people looking. I was like, no, they look like that in spite of people looking. So eat some shit, jerk. Okay, back to DIY. Kelly,
Yeah,
you showed
DIY.
shoes. What else you got?
All right, so I will show the next one. This one is a very easy DIY. We want to talk about like easy skill level people
Hell
not
yeah.
wanting to do or not, wanting to get too skilled with their DIYs. This is my show bag. I take this when I go to shows and events. I've been using it for years
Hmm.
because it's nice and tiny. It doesn't get in the way of dancing too much. And I just put a bunch of pins on it. I put four little studs up here, and I've
Yep.
lost a few of the badges and pins over the years, so I replace the pins
Hmm.
from time to time, which I actually do have. I have a ton of pins still. I pick up stuff from all over the place, like pins, badges. Sometimes I get them sent to me by like
Yep.
bands and record labels. Sometimes I pick them up at shows. I'll buy stuff on Bandcamp. I'll buy stuff from Etsy. So I just have like tons of that stuff. And this was a real simple, easy DIY. This is my little club show bag.
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing. Whenever possible, take some cash to a show for the vending table because if you have $2, you can get out of there with a pin or two or three or a sticker. It helps the bands. It gives you a memento because I just bought, I finally bought the suitcase I really wanted for Vegete last time, but I didn't think it was big enough and it was too expensive. People aren't traveling. Luggage is on sale, y'all. And it seems stupid, but I'm like, oh, the suitcase I want. Yeah. Anyway, it's a whole new chance to use all the new stickers I have because I want to be able to find my suitcase. So I have this beautiful black suitcase coming, and I'm going to sticker the hell out of it with all the stickers I buy at shows. And when I order like physical
That is
merchandise, like I
genius. I
order
need to do
a lot of
that.
albums, yeah, you'll always know your suitcase, especially if you travel a lot, like train, bus, plane, doesn't matter. You're like, touch that again. We know
Yeah.
whose suitcase that is. Look at the suitcase, look at the person.
Yeah.
Because I also wear my heaviest garments on a plane because your suitcase has weight. It's another way to
Yes.
use your DIY. Those leather jackets, those never get packed. You sweat your ass off in the
Yeah.
airport.
You wear it on the plane. My
Biggest
luggage.
shoes, biggest jacket.
I wear platform
Yes.
boots on
My luggage is
planes.
fabric, so I can't put stickers on it, but it's leopard print fabric, so it's still pretty easy to
Oh yeah.
spot. But I put
Yep.
stickers. I have my entire, like the back of my machine, and my laptop's
Mhm.
pretty big. It's a 15-inch screen.
Uh-huh.
So I have like stickers all on the back of that. I have stickers on all my external hard drives. I have a few of those. I see
Yep. My microwave.
musicians will put stickers like that all over their guitar cases. I see that a
Yep.
lot.
Yep.
Hard
Yep.
cases for guitars. like any kind of like hard like trunk container case whatever,
Yes.
stickers
Yes.
all over it. And that's such an easy DIY. Just put a bunch of stickers all over stuff. And you can get stickers from Bandcamp. You can get them at shows.
Yes, frequently. And I take when I travel, I like hard side luggage because I take delicate stuff. I have this weird branch headband that is extremely delicate. So if I want to take it somewhere, because I don't dress extreme when I'm sitting around my house or at the office. So when I go to a festival, it's on. I am going to go crazy. I mean, if I can pull it off, which I generally don't give a shit. So I do pull off whatever, but I want that hard side so it saves everything. But I have stickers all over the front of my microwave. I have
Ooh,
magnets,
microwave.
cutesy little like the double Siamese twin skeletons. I have a magnet on my instant pot. I have like 6 magnets on my instant pot. I just decorate a lot of shit. A lot of shit. My refrigerator is, you can barely even tell it's a refrigerator anymore. There's so much crap on it. So, I mean, when you're renting, you're not going to do the fully installed, like I have a built-in microwave. So you wouldn't do that if you don't own it if you're renting. But your top side or countertop non super hot appliances, yeah, that shit is cool. It just makes you feel a little bit better, and it feels a little, I don't know, makes you more like you've nested,
Yeah.
more like somebody lives there.
DIY appliances. I love it. So, Michelle, what's your next DIY project to show us?
Well, I will show you my 2 pieces of headgear. I think that's all I've got. So this is one of my dark and lazies, which turned out not to be lazy because getting this to actually work sucked.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, whoops. It's a little dirty from being just pulled off the wall, but this is an probably antique millinery thing with some pins, and then I glued on a skull, and of course there is, oh no, sorry, those aren't studs, those are more gems. So I use gem tack extensively. My DIYs are kind of known for it. It's kind of the one of the jokes of the dark and lazies is the gem tack. People keep telling me to do more high tech stuff, and I was like, no, I can't glue my fingers together if I'm using hot glue. You don't get it. And then the other thing I have that is absolutely not a short term DIY is this headband.
Oh, that's
That's
so
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, this is an Edwardian piece of beadwork that it's all based on. This is a wide headband that I built up. So it's stuffed
Oh, wow.
and covered. And then I added in these 2 leather because they match this, kind of that color, and antique Victorian tassels. And you can see how little they are because those things are expensive. So those are like $5. This thing cost me about $100 to make.
Wow, it's
So
beautiful though.
it
And
will
you
never
said
be on a dark and lazy.
Edwardian.
Yep.
It does
Yep.
look like very silent movie
Yep.
esque.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
very
had to wear
nice.
stuff to keep it on because it actually goes. I'll just take off my headphones. It goes like. I can't exactly put it on, but it goes like this.
That's so cool.
That's very nice.
So that is.
Very fancy.
That's probably about 15 hours worth of work because getting this built up and staying up, it also has some sort of skis. I think that's all that's going on. Oh, and then I put these loops because I wanted more. And it's not even what I wanted. I wanted it to be drooling like diadems from the silent screen age. And I wore that at Vegete when I couldn't wear regular eye makeup because I hit the ground and my eyes were puffed up allergies. So I
Oh,
just went
worst
with that
time for it to
Chinese dancer
happen.
pink. Right. I couldn't wear eyeliner. And so I went creative, and people stared at me a lot. And I was like, you know what? Eat shit. Goth is creative. This is the original creative spirit. So
Yeah,
one
and
day I just put a line across my face.
at Vegete, that I mean that they should know better.
Right. But there's a lot of people that go to Vegete that are um, more observer than super participant goth, if that makes sense. Like the people that go to the club that are wearing like a tank dress and like
You're talking
just
about
kind of
like
regular heels.
tourists? Tourists.
Tourists. Yep. Vegete has a lot of tourists, and Vegete has a lot of people that go to be seen as well. And they do go to some of the shows. So that was the surprising thing is you think in every show it's going to be like the most hardcore goths you ever saw.
Oh yeah,
And
peacocks.
right, right. And when you go, because it's a huge festival, and I I recommend if you can possibly get to it. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. Make friends before you go because you're going to need tour guides. Thank you so much to everybody I went with, especially Jez and Mark, who pretty much cat wrangled me. So I'd feel lost and then somebody would come find me. But yeah, there's a lot of people there. You're going to see DIY out the wazoo, but you're also going to see people who are just kind of there to see the freaks, and they might like the music, but yeah. So, just whatever. It's still less than you would get like going to McKinney, Texas, where I thought I might get my ass kicked for going to an Irish music show. But yeah, so okay, so that's my headgear. Next. Sorry, I got off
All right.
topic.
Caroline, you got a DIY project to show us?
Yeah, I've got lots more. And
Yeah.
when Michelle showed her hat, I remembered something from far back. We got this made.
Oh,
for
right
a
on.
my
tri-corner,
husband. This was
tri-corner hat.
This was a cheap ass hat from eBay. You know, one of those floppy sun hat things.
Mhm.
And we just, we sewed it up here, a little bit here,
Mhm.
and a little bit there, and there you got like a $4 tricorn hat.
Yeah, it's very
I love it.
adamant, very adamant.
I love a tricorn.
Yeah. Oh yes. Also, Michelle reminded me earlier when she said necklace. I made this out of the Meraluna
I remember seeing that.
wristband
Oh,
from
that's so
2018.
cool.
It's beautiful.
It has this alchemy gothic coin, which was really fancy. So I was like, I can't throw this away. So I bought like a bag
Mhm.
of these. What are these called? Like crocodile,
Yeah.
alligator clasp things.
Yeah, I forget what those are.
Yeah, I just cut it so it would fit me.
That's so
And
cool.
there you go.
That's cute.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
awesome.
really cute. And very
Yeah.
simple, so you can wear it with other stuff as well. Like the 17 necklace layering look.
Yeah.
Speaking of necklace.
Oh
I'm
yes.
off.
Let me see. I think this was like the first blazer I did ever. I had barely touched a needle before in my life. So like the stitching on the shit is awful.
How much blood
But
is in
I
it?
Uh,
I have a proper leather jacket here too. That has a lot of blood in it. I
hey,
can tell you.
that just makes it more goth.
It is
Sacrifice to the DIY gods. But yeah, like I really liked this. This is super simple, but it looks so cool. It's just some like necklace, chain, 3 safety pins, done. And we got
Nice.
just your classic patches. It was pretty basic at the
Oh,
time.
I got
like
some
that
of those.
sleeve.
Yeah.
I like that sleeve with the
Yeah,
Is
added
over
that
this
white
later.
stocking? Is that white stockings?
Yeah, it was a stocking that was like too ripped to wear anymore, so I just put it on here.
Very
And
cool.
you can see it's not very white anymore, but I think I actually like that better.
But you know what? One of the things about DIY, especially when you're doing something that has more of a chaos, asymmetrical, etc. look, is that when your stitching's not perfect, that just adds to it.
Right?
Oh, my
For me
stitching is
personally.
a mess. I'm not like okay, well, here comes my next piece. This was the most viewed DIY video on my YouTube channel is my battle vest video. So
That's
this is
nice.
like
Oh, that's badass.
It's
so
awesome.
the front of it, I have pyramid studs, of course. I have a bunch of enamel pins on the collar, and these are more like horror themed. And then I do have like a Thelma symbol there. I just put a bunch of safety pins, and this goes to show you that you don't need to have a skill level to do DIY. You can just
Exactly.
put a bunch of safety pins on stuff, and look how
Yep.
cool it looks like with the two lines like that. I have these spikes here, which these are actually these screw-on spikes. They look like this. They have a little hole in them, and then you there's these little screws that you screw into the back of them. I actually use a leather hole puncher now to punch holes and stuff, and then I make the little
Yeah.
hole that I can screw the spikes through.
Yeah. It's
And
really
then
hard to just stab through.
the back of it is a lot of the cookie cutter goth patches. We got Specimen, 45 grade, Birthday Party, Caroline's. You got some of the same patches. Joy Division, Sisters of Mercy, Susie and the Banshees, and the old Batcave logo. Got a coffin there, and everyone puts bats on everything, and this had enough bats on it. So
I like the
because
swallows.
yeah, I like American traditional style tattoos, obviously, which is not really a goth thing, but I love it anyway. So I like to incorporate it into other stuff. So I wanted to incorporate a little bit of American traditional tattoo art in there. And I thought since
it.
they were black and white, that they worked pretty well on the shoulders.
Definitely.
So that's
really nice.
That's the classic battle vest. I have a leopard vest that I want to do that style, but with like newer bands, like newer and more obscure bands. I'm hoping to get it done before Absolution Fest this year, but we'll see what kind of time I'm working with.
Yeah, I'm planning to buy from Angry Young and Poor has plus size stuff. If y'all are wondering, they have plus size leather and jean jackets, and getting a black jean jacket is very difficult at plus size for women, or for femme shape. But I'm hoping to get one done by Absolution Fest too. So I'm going to buy a vest because that's the most useful.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
but
yeah,
I'd like to
especially
see.
in Florida, because
Yeah,
even though it's
that's what I'm
October,
thinking.
well, we were both
Yep.
at 2019 Absolution Fest, and it was like 90 some
Mhm.
degrees every day we were there, and it's October.
Right.
I came back to Pittsburgh, and it was like 52 degrees when I got off the plane.
It was
Quite the
much cooler
contrast.
here too. Yeah, and I'm so excited. We're going to both be at the second Absolution Fest.
Yes,
Hopefully, I'll be
I'm
able to
so
get
excited
another
to see you.
blue shirt. I know. So sorry, y'all. I think I have a dog hair inside this mask. Um, all right. What are we doing next?
I was talking about tricorn hats before. I have one as well.
Oh yes,
It's completely in leather though.
You've got some pins on it too,
Pretty.
so it's
yeah,
got
exactly.
D.I.Y. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
I
little
didn't make
sometimes.
mine, but tricorn is one of my tricorn and cavalier are my favorite styles of hats.
I have
Likewise.
a tricorn fascinator, so it's like little.
That's so
Nice.
cute though.
Yeah, it is cute, but the thing is, it's like such a pain to keep it on because it has clips. I want to get the clips off and attach it to like a more secure headband at some point.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Whatever works for you. What I mean, I have to remake stuff all the time. And my tricorn hat I bought, and it's well pretty perfect, but it has no specifically goth elements. So. But I love a tricorn. I like the little ones. I like the big ones. I like the crazy fancy ones. I also like the Napoleonic style.
Yeah, well, it's almost like I feel like that French Rococo stuff, like
Yes.
Victorian style gets tied to goth a lot, but I
Mhm.
feel like the French Rococo stuff doesn't get enough credit for being very prolific in goth culture. It is. I see that like French Revolution era, like
Mhm.
Rococo
Yep.
style
My favorite
design
era.
in decor, in clothing. I see it so much in goth, but I think people see anything pre 20th century and they call it Victorian, but it's
Oh
actually
my
like
God.
French Rococo.
Some of the stuff I see that people call Victorian, I was like, that's not. That was after the 50s. I've seen people call all sorts of stuff by the wrong thing, and I just shut the hell up now because my degree is in art, but my concentration is in fashion. So fashion history is one of my favorite things. So I just let them have it.
Yeah.
Let them have it.
Edwardian, even I see like actually I would say pre 1920 stuff gets called
Hmm.
Victorian. So
Hmm.
Edwardian stuff gets called Victorian. I
Right.
sometimes even the 1920s Art Deco stuff will get like just because
Yeah.
it's black, they're gonna be like Victorian.
Yep.
But you know,
Yep.
goths
La
like
Belle
to take
Epoque.
all
Hmm.
yeah. I feel like Goths like to take all kinds of intricate historical design eras and just make it black.
I yes. Yes, and there have been several times that black lipstick has been popular. And read an article about it, and I can't remember what it is. It's like a societal thing. Like the greater threat we feel, the shorter skirts are, or something. I mean, it's that kind of a correlation where you'll see fashion reflects what's going on. And black lipstick has a correlation because it was popular, I think, in the 1600s.
Yeah,
I
it was
forget.
popular in the
It was popular.
1920s.
Yes, it was popular in the 1920s. But all the spiritualism, people mistake that for goth. I'm like, I like it when people say Poe is a goth. And I was like, okay, no, but we like his poetry.
It's
He's
dark. If
romantic and existentialist. So
yeah,
yeah. So people want to put that label on everything they like. And sometimes they just want to put that label on everything black. Everything
yes.
black can be made to look more goth. I mean, I guess it only really looks goth.
I
Well, I don't
mean,
know.
we love that stuff. We love that stuff,
Yeah.
but
Yep, we
we
do.
don't
We do.
get the credit for everything black and spooky.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but some people try to do that. A lot of times it'll be people that think you're goth without listening to the music. So
All
some
too
people are
common.
going to go down on a sinking ship. Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, don't we know it? It's a topic that comes up very
All the
very
Every
time on
day.
frequently.
YouTube.
Well, we wear Dave, are you wear am I the only one who dressed in the uniform today? Am
Yep,
I the
yep.
only one who Dave and Caroline left me hanging. I wore my elitist gatekeeper. We were doing this for every episode, I thought, and now
I
Really?
I may have
you two
completely
gotta leave
forgotten
me
it.
hanging. Yeah.
I'll make
Well,
it up for
I
next
put on
time.
a DIY instead. I put a, okay. So I don't know. Are we starting to run out of time? Do you want me to pull out some of my more
Oh,
complicated?
we've got a full hour left. We
Yeah,
could
so
take up to
take
Oh,
your
two
time.
okay,
hours for
okay,
these.
okay. I'm gonna
And I
begin.
think Caroline will be with us here again shortly. There seems to be some problems with video.
Well, while Michelle
I
is
can see
looking
her.
for her next project, I'm just going to show two of my favorite supplies here. I already showed my leather hole puncher. This comes in common, or it comes in handy a lot when I am doing the spikes. I definitely recommend this because I used to try and just use like nail scissors and stab holes to use for spikes.
Oh
It doesn't
no,
work out that well.
no,
So leather hole
no.
puncher, they're not that expensive. You can get it just about anywhere. There's like craft stuff.
Yeah, I think you
Um,
can use those on denim too.
this is another
Yeah, it
good
should
one.
work.
This liquid glue, or it's like stitch glue tear mender. I get
Oh yeah.
comments on my DIY videos like my battle vest. I did sew the patches on it. I mean, I'm no expert at sewing, and I don't really. There's no method to my stitching. I just kind of stitch it until it seems secure. But I get comments, people asking, is there a way I can secure patches without sewing? You can always use some fabric glue and then maybe throw some safety
Mhm.
pins on it. I see people
Yep.
do
Yep.
that. I see people use this and sewing if they want to make their patches extra secure. So the tear mender or a similar fabric stitch glue, liquid
Right.
stitch is another one. Very useful to have for DIY projects.
No, they're good. Although with patches, I would recommend if you're gonna just safety pin, then do several. Don't just put on like four, one on each side if it's something that's like a square or rectangular shape. Because I've done that, and then everything caught on it, and the pins are popping off before you know it because you caught something on a pin. Safety pins are great. The big ones are more secure. They do come undone, and they will stab you.
Yeah, and it isn't necessarily going to secure the patch because, like you said, they do come
Right.
undone. So I would recommend if you don't want to do any type of sewing whatsoever, use some fabric glue with your safety pins.
Right.
Yeah,
With fabric glue,
definitely.
you're not going to get it back off. So if you want to use it again, it's going to be thicker because you're going to have to cut it
Yeah,
off.
you're gonna have to cut the clothes. Yeah, so that is a good thing to
But with
keep in
leather, it's
mind.
easier. With leather, it's way easier to glue, and leather can last for, whoops, sorry, last for a really, really long time. So
Yeah,
for your permanent stuff, for me, my size goes up and down, so it makes me nervous, and I want to be able to cut it off. And now, having had the experience of the 100-hour battle jacket or battle vest that I no longer have, I realize. Yeah,
We can hear
welcome
you.
back.
I don't. Do we see her on the Twitch stream? I think her
1 second.
picture's still
Oh,
missing.
yeah.
Yeah, and I know why. It's coming up in a second. Alright.
I have. We were talking about lazy DIYs. I have the ultimate laziest DIY here that requires no skill at all. This is a red velvet blazer, and I just put a bunch of enamel pins on it. I got
Perfect.
Robert Smith. I got some horror pins, the Cramps. I got a Plague Doctor, Love and Rockets. This is
Where'd you
from
get that skull?
Return of the Living Dead, and I got it. I
Beautiful.
think I got it from an Etsy shop. And I got sisters here, my Susie eyes. So this is the ultimate lazy DIY. This blazer's a little bit big on me now, a little loose, but I think I can get it taken in at the waist, and then it'll be good to go.
Yeah, you can actually get a tailor to work on that. Probably cost about $25 if it's worth saving to you.
Yeah, I probably will end up doing that at some point.
Yeah. I did a hack job on my own. I slit the lining. I pinched it in at the waist. I took it in because I'm smaller here than average for my size, so I fixed it there. And then I promptly lost a bunch of weight, and it was huge. And now I've creeped back up enough to where I can wear it. So I'm in a quandary of I think it's going to be a pin jacket. I don't think I'm going to put patches on it because it's probably not going to fit for very long. Which is the hard part about if your weight fluctuates, it sucks because you got to do more temporary stuff if you have garments like that or particularly loved pins. And with some pins, when you get the enamel ones, they come with just that weird little rubber back. That shit is going to fall right off your jacket one day, y'all. You got
Yeah.
to glue it on. And if you want to be able to, because, um, yeah, I had a shirt that was, I had to be at my absolute heaviest for it to work right. So I lost I can't remember what the pin was, but it's not one that's easy to get. And it was a really obscure band, and I can't believe I even found that pin. But it was black, and it was in the shape of a broken heart. So it was really cute. And I lost it because I glued it to the shirt, along with everything else that was glued to that shirt. And then
Uh,
I wore it to work.
Yep.
R.I.P. That's the struggle with DIY is when the garment no longer works, and if you have like patches or pins glued to it or stuck to it, or for
Yep.
some reason you
Yep.
can't recoup those materials from the piece. It's just like it kills you on the inside a little bit to have to get
Right.
rid of that.
Yeah, the amount of
And
times.
storing.
Yeah, the amount of times I've lost a pin, especially some rare
Mhm.
ones, just disappeared after a show.
Yeah, that
It
little
sucks.
bag I showed,
Yep.
I lose pins off of that all the time. So I try to use just the cookie cutter bands and stuff, like the
Yep.
stuff that I'm not going to
Yep.
care about losing because I'm dancing pretty hard on the dance floor sometimes, and stuff comes off that bag all the time. So I don't put any of my more prized badges on there.
Yeah. When it's like I have a pin that's, it's not one of a kind, but they made like 35 of them,
Okay,
and
so
they're
like
not
limited
ever
batch.
limited batch. And I think it's on my Vegetae bag. I think I finally put it there because I was so afraid to use it because I didn't want to lose it. But the Vegetae bag is my festival bag because I can figure out where money and license are, and they're in the center of the bag, so they're hard to get to. It'll hold little things if I buy them, you know, stuff, and it doesn't flop around when you're dancing. It doesn't get real irritating unless it's full of floppy stuff, I guess. That's weird. Oh, but bags. Let's go to, I have two bags actually.
Yes, let's see them.
Hang on. This is the one I made for Vegetae. Hang on. Again, we're not looking at a dark and lazy. This is my
It's
original
beautiful.
Vegetae.
Very
This
nice.
is
Oh, I love
suede.
those giant pyramid studs.
I think I have some more. I was just trying to wonder where they were. And then in the back, I did a cutout of the suede with the same applique. So it's
Beautiful.
actually a silk scarf that's folded four ways, and then it's velcroed. And it didn't work. It did not work out because it wouldn't stay closed. And everything started to come apart because you're so hard on everything at Vegetae. So the other bag I took that I no, this is a COVID bag. This is what I would just go to the clubs with, and you can see it's full of stuff. There was this weird thing I got from. the coffin subscription boxes that were out. I love a pyramid studs. I stabbed myself recently. This is not glued on the inside. I wish I'd thought of that. I should do it. But you can see it's all worn out. It looks like there's no velvet at the top anymore. But I've been using the shit out of that. I always put some little tiny detail on the back of everything. But I've been using the shit out of that because I didn't want to use my big purse during the COVID before we figured out how hard it is to pick up off of surfaces. So I just didn't want to,
Yeah.
I wanted the least amount of stuff out there. And now I'm used to not carrying a big fat purse.
Yeah, and that's good for like the club too, because if you want to
Yep.
have be able to like have your phone and some money on you, but you don't want a bag getting in your way when you're dancing. Little bags like that are great for like shows in the
Yep.
club.
Yep. I take it gross. I just take it everywhere. So it's wearing out and I'm going to need another one. But it's just some velvet cheapo bag that came with something. And then I had this weirdo Illuminati looking patch. And I was like, well, back when I was like dead set against tossing anything out that I just didn't quite like, because I don't love that patch. Now, if I had it, I'd probably toss it out and just use one of the many patches I have that I like more, which I'll have an opportunity to do because I need another little bag.
Yep, I got a ton of patches. I have this big bag of them. I got some giant back patches, which I don't even know if my back is big enough for some of these. We'll see. Maybe I'll make a pillow or something if I can't put them on the back something. But this one's the Wraith.
Yeah, that's bigger than you.
Yeah. We'll see. I might be able to. Maybe I could put it on like a. Oh, I have fabric luggage, leopard print fabric luggage. I could sew this on my suitcase.
Oh yeah, then you'll always know your suitcase.
Yeah, that would actually. Oh, see, we're learning from each other. Good tips. Yeah, this one's another one by the Wraith. The Wraith has giant back patches. If anyone's interested in a
big.
giant back patch, these are from their band camp.
I think I have a Then Comes Silence back patch. But you know what, y'all? With patches, buy them when you see them, especially the embroidered ones.
Yep.
Oh, that I love that.
Yeah.
I love that one. I feel like I've seen that one, probably online. Probably didn't buy it and regretted it.
It's available on their Bandcamp. I got a giant bag of stickers too. Oh, look at that!
Yeah, look at that.
Goth Police. Dave, is there a bot in chat that will drop the link to the Goth Police merch? Goth
not
Police.
yet, actually.
The Goth. Fun fact about this logo. This tank top, the Goth Police stickers. Dave's wife designed this logo, and so you can buy Goth Police merch online if you too want to be an elitist gatekeeper. But all kinds of stickers. I have a bunch of band stickers. Have the Wraith. And when you buy stuff from bands on Bandcamp, if you buy vinyl records, if you buy merchandise, a lot of times they will send you stickers and throw that in the mix. So you'll get, I get Synth Religion. I get a lot of Synth Religion stickers when I buy from Anta. Like if you buy like Anta records or anything else.
They will send you 10 stickers with your albums when you finally get them from France.
Double Echo, amazing dark wave band. See, like this D.I.Y stuff is also just a chance for us to promo more of our favorite bands. So we like covertly called this like a lifestyle fashion episode, but any episode we're just going to be talking about a ton of music.
Yeah, I didn't put my equipment. I can see it. I'll be right back.
Oh, here's a cool one, Mystic Priestess.
Ooh.
Mystic Priestess is a great death rock band, and all of their like logo designs are so cool.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of bands using some really nice logos when they're making their art these days. I like it.
Yeah, there's some beautiful album art out there. So, Caroline, what's next for your DIY projects?
Okay, let me see. I have my black metal jacket. This is so heavy.
Oh, I like that red lining.
Heavy jacket
Yeah,
seems more appropriate for black metal.
yeah. We just
Yeah,
have a
that's-
couple of patches and fucking hard rock pins here. Enslaved,
that's really nice.
Satyricon.
Is that really black metal? Because I can read that one. I can tell what it says.
It's not Trukvilt.
Michelle is
Yeah,
gatekeeping
local band.
black metal logos.
Because I listen to so much black metal, I know like two bands.
Yeah.
This is the stereotypical black metal patch. Like everyone will have this, but it fits so well because it has a seam right here, so it fit really nicely.
Yeah, that's
Very
a really
nice.
attractive patch,
Yeah.
though.
Is that like the Death Rock patch? You know the Death Rock logo I'm talking about with like the
cross-
Yeah, the
crossbones?
crosses and
Yeah.
It's pretty much the black metal equivalent of that.
Okay, yeah. When you said that, I was like, it must be like the Death Rock crossbones.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Most goths
can-
have a Susie eye or a sister's logo.
Yep.
yep.
I can also show, since I'm pretty tiny, this shirt is like a size 8 to 10 years old. That can give people an idea of how small I am. So most band t-shirts won't fit me.
Right.
So these are some shirts that were, I think all of these were like unisex small, and they were like kind of tight on my 6-foot husband, but on me they're dresses. So that's Kirwan.
Very
This
cool.
is the
I love that.
Very nice.
shirt that they came out with last year, and they gave all the money to charity.
Yeah. Did you completely re-sew that on the sides?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
because
It
as
looks
you
like
can
it.
see, it's a lot
Yeah, that's-
slimmer than
That's
small.
adorable. I love that.
And then we have Prague Gothic Treffen dress.
Nice.
Yeah, I really want to go back there, but I don't know if that's gonna happen this year.
Yeah, I don't
Lastly,
know.
I just have 2 tiny little vests.
Oh,
These
those are
literally
cute.
child size.
Those are cute.
Yeah, but those are
Ooh.
perfect for over a dress. They're absolutely perfect for that. Oh, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Right on. I like 9 Inch Nails. Some of it.
9 Inch Nails and
So
the
this
Addams
just
Family
has-
tones
very
on tail.
simple.
This is a very interesting eclectic mix of stuff going on this vest. You got the Damned, tones on tail, Addams Family,
I think
9
this
Inch Nails.
was like
That's quite the mix.
I think
Yeah,
this
but
was
I
like
love
spare patches I couldn't fit on other.
Yeah,
clothes.
I
I
like
just
it.
love that
I like
'cause
that too.
your tastes are
This
eclectic.
one,
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it shows your personality.
Alice Cooper. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is kind of generic metal, I guess. I've never really worn it because it's.
I
blue.
love it. See,
This is
You
from a bar. I
You
used
know
to
what? You
work
could
at,
put it
so I
through
rep
a
that.
black dye wash and see what happens to the patches. I bet you anything one of those patches is not going to take the color. So you'll still have
Yeah,
something
probably.
different because polyester isn't going to take the color. So I say dye it or start
Yeah.
covering parts of it with black lace or something that'll make you wear it because it's cute.
Yeah.
Cute style.
I also have like the Norwegian and Filipino flag right there to represent me, and then
Wow.
also like a National Day of Norway little ribbon thing. We usually wear like a proper one, but I found this pin, so I was like, I need to get that.
Where did you get a Norwegian and Filipino flag?
It was randomly in one of these like souvenir stores in town. I'm like, what are the odds of actually
Right.
that combination? So I was like, sure, yeah, I need to get that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect to see that.
It's cool to
Yeah.
see like unexpected stuff. Sometimes I don't put all goth stuff on my like battle vests and battle jackets.
Yeah, me
Sometimes
either.
I really like punk. So sometimes I like to incorporate some punk or like some psychobilly. Like I got some really cool patches that I think would look good on the red blazer because I think I'm gonna put colored patches on the back of it. Oh, gasp, lay gasp, color patches. Because I have this Misfits patch right here. It's got green, very 2000s with like the neon and the black design on it, and it's coffin
Nice,
shaped.
though.
So yeah, and then I have
love coffin shaped patches.
the crimps here.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's cute.
yeah, these are probably going to go on the back of that blazer. I have a few, like I have a lot of cliche goth patches, the same cliche goth patches we all have. But I have some more obscure stuff. I got Paralysis Permanente, the Spanish post-punk
right on.
band from the 80s, El Acto. This is actually a hand-stitched patch, which is cool. I got it on Etsy. Obscure Undead, gotta rep Obscure Undead. Caroline, Michelle, and I are all on the Obscure Undead writing team.
Yeah, I can't
Michelle,
find my patches.
this is one of your favorites, Michelle. I know this Mortal Coil.
That is actually what I was going to paint on my leather jacket. That was going to be the thing I was going to paint on
Amazing.
there. As soon as I buy white pens, I can't find my patches, y'all. They're in a special bag because there's two back patches in there, and I don't know because my whole house is in chaos from having the floor redone. I have no idea where those are, so I can't show them. I just have a shitload of pins. One of my favorite things. This is not a DIY. Aeon Sable made. Can you?
Oh, is that the matchsticks?
There we go.
Ah,
There we
there
are.
it is.
Ah.
Oh, that's so
It's probably
cool.
back
Very
for it.
nice.
Yeah, so when I see weird shit, I also have the She Passed Away cassette tape
Oh, the
collection.
cassette wallet.
Oh, right on. Caroline, I bought 5 of those and I've given one away.
Oh, you both
So-
have the cassette. So you both like to get the weird stuff. I wanted to get the cassette
Yeah.
wallet. They were sold out on their Bandcamp. Actually, I'll have to check back
That's
see if
our
they
fault.
restocked. Yeah.
I'm trying to see what I've
Well,
got, 'cause I
everyone
have a
saw
lot
that
of-
and they were like, "That is so weird and cool. I need it in my life." And yeah, I'll have to check
What the
back to
hell
see
that
if
is.
they restocked that on their
That-
Bandcamp.
My Vegate ticket, which is never going to get put into anything because it's too beat up, but I have the last year's that we didn't use. But I don't know where my patches are, and now I'm getting a little upset thinking about it because I was about to put those on stuff.
Yeah, I have the same problem. Ever since we moved, I can't find most of my things.
Right. Well, see, I thought they'd be in here. This is my stuff. This is a Lunatic Cosmetics box. And
Oh
so
yeah,
this
they
is
have cool packaging.
jam-packed with stuff, like 3 sizes of safety pins. Swarovski, you can't. Oh my God, this cheap ass camera. Like more. Let's see. I can't tell. I think this is the right side. More appliques. Because I do like this is not actually Victorian. That's oh my God, y'all! I found them.
Nice.
Those are so cool. I need
But
those. I need to get
here's
some.
the problem. You have to make holes.
Oh, I
They were
got.
difficult.
They're okay. All I got to do is
That's my good bag.
I got to turn to the bigger hole punch on here.
Right.
I got it
I
covered.
might consider getting one of those. But this is my
Definitely
bag
do.
of
Good investment.
this is my bag of good long back studs. This is the good ones. And I've been so these can go through thicker stuff. This is the bag that I've got. This was full when I started on it a year and a half ago. This is the cheap ones that can only be used on t-shirts. So the only place I found to buy those in bulk is I think Angry Young and Poor. I talk about them all the time. They're like more of a punk rock kind of place, you know, like the Damned, Angry Young and Poor.
Yep.
Like the Artist Way, I think is the name of the song. Anyway, so you can get the 1-inch spikes, the screw-in spikes. That's the cheapest place I found them in to order in the U.S. or from inside the U.S. So I think they're out in L.A. Otherwise, China. We're talking AliExpress for those studs because they all come from China. Because I try to source honestly from the U.S. first, kind of help the economy or whatever. We're doing better now, so I'm not so weird about that. But I could not find the studs, the pyramid studs, anywhere else. Like you can find the ones that don't have stabs that are like glass that you just glue on. You'll have varying success with those. If you do it on fabric with gem tack, they're not coming off. You can wash it. All my stuff that's got rhinestones, you can wash. But when it comes to those studs, I just couldn't find them with the pokebacks from anywhere outside of China. Somewhere in Asia because they're sourcing in the same place. So it just depends on where you're going to get it faster from.
Yeah, I tend to buy that stuff off of eBay, like studs and spikes. So I'll find stuff in bulk on eBay. There is a leather shop online. Now I need to figure out what it's called, but
Tandy?
I think it's called Studs and Spikes. It might be the shop.
Oh
be
yeah,
called.
yeah. I bought from them.
Yeah, they have good quality materials. Now they're not
Yes.
going to be the
Yeah.
cheapest ones out there. studsandspikes.com. Yeah, you can get wholesale. They're going to be like some of the better quality stuff you can find because
Right.
not all studs and spikes are created equal. I've
No.
noticed that I have some pyramid studs that rust a lot easier than other ones. Like I'll have I've had like projects where the pyramid studs are rusting over time. And then I have to undo them. It's such a pain in the ass to have to undo all
Oh
these
yeah, it
rows
sucks.
of studs and then having to
Mhm.
redo them. And I try to find the old holes so I don't like dilapidate the
Right.
piece, whatever the clothing is. Yeah, not I do not recommend that. So there is something to be said about
Right.
you know getting a little higher quality. It depends on the piece. If I'm working on a jacket or a blazer or something, I know that's something I'm probably going to have for years. I'll probably want
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
splurge for maybe a little bit better materials. But if it's just some t-shirt DIY or something that I know is going to fall apart eventually, then maybe I'll go for the cheaper stuff.
Yeah, I found that the cheaper stuff with those studs, the spikes to push them through are shorter. That's why I use those on t-shirts because you need the longer ones to get through 2 or 3 layers of thicker fabric.
Yeah, they're made for leather, so yeah.
Yeah, right, right. When you get the good ones. If you get the glue down, I buy the glass because I try to never use anything acrylic on cloth. If it's acrylic, if I order something and I didn't catch that was acrylic, it'll get used on paper for like making cards or bookmarks or crap like that, or I'll give it away. But that's because, I spent a lot of years being broke AF, brokety doo dah day. So the idea of being able to actually order stuff of higher quality is sometimes not in the picture. So we make do with what we have, but I recommend if you just want something, if you're broke, just broke, you're broke. Safety pins are a great way, and snips near the collar, like snip, 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 snip. Let me see what I've got. Oh, I forgot. Here's my lame ass battle vest. When I got this and it had the satin back, so disappointing. But this is a lazy version for me. It has beads. It still has. I think this side has beads all the way down it. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
on top of what I wanted to get to.
Well, for people who are looking to save money too, another tip: studs and spikes tend to be sold in bulk, and if you buy larger
Yeah.
packages, it's more of a discount on the unit price. So, if you could find a few friends who all want to do like DIY projects, you can all like go chip in on like a big bulk package of studs or spikes and split them, and that could be a way to like drive down the cost as well because you'll
Right.
save more money per unit if you're buying like the big packages of them.
Yeah, if you can buy 1,000 or 10,000, and once you start using them, unless you really hate it, you'll be in the thousands at some point of those damn studs. Seriously, those studs I showed you guys, those are not the first studs I bought. I've gone through like 1,000 before I started working on those. So I probably used probably about 1,000 studs at this point because it's my favorite thing to put on stuff. But like this detail, I'm just showing you. This is a Kentucky Vampires.
Ooh.
I'm trying to find the stuff. Oh,
Oh,
there's some
excellent. I got a
there's some
Kentucky
glitter.
Vampires pin.
Yeah,
So everyone should check out their Bandcamp for cool goth rock merch.
right. And you can't see them, but there's rhinestones on this,
It's
right on the
very
back.
cool.
In
That's so
person, you
cool.
can see it.
I
But
love
this is
that
the detail I'm
design
talking about.
too. I love the design. I love the black on red. I love everything about that.
Yeah, it's a really cute design. But this right here, this kind of a detail is what I'm talking about. You can go to any craft
Hmm.
store, get one package of Dritz is the brand in the US, put a row of pins on it, and you're looking at something that's DIY. It can be that simple. Or find all the shit that's in your y'all, I'm just dropping this. I'm not gonna be able to get out of here. The crap laying around in your house. This is a dog collar that didn't
Yes.
work for one of my dogs. Obviously, I'm not wearing this one with the boob chain to work, but it's with pins and random studs. If you take the studs off of this and it's just pins and the collar, you're looking about $4 worth of stuff on this t-shirt, which by the way is very soft. I have,
Indeed.
I think, 3 cemetery. I'm just going through these real quick. Wingtips. Again, with the
Um,
safety pins, if you cut it off and do something like that and did nothing, none of the other stuff, you still got a design element that's going to stand out.
that is one of my favorite albums ever, Exposure Therapy.
Same. That's probably top 10 for me. Okay, let me put that down. Okay, I've saved my most complicated tops for later. Next.
All right, I've got one last one that I have to show here, and it is my battle blazer.
Right
I've
on.
got some pins. I alternated some spikes, and then I would spike 3 pyramid studs, and I alternated that in a single line because it's got this narrow lapel, so it worked out really well with the narrow lapel here. I got a mix of old and new here. I got She Passed Away, Gang of Four, um, Virgin Prunes, Rosetta
Mm-hmm.
Stone.
That's a rare
And
one.
then on the back here, I have this giant Joy Division level tear us apart patch. I got Nick Cave in the Bad Seeds and Susie in the Banshees. This is a pretty long blazer. So after I put the Joy
Mhm.
Division back patch, there was a little bit of space. So I just put 2 medium-sized down there, and it worked out
That
pretty
works.
well to fill the space. But now, of course, like all my other jackets and stuff, it's a little loose, a little big. So I need to figure out a way to take in the waist. But I think this one with blazers, it's a little easier because see this like button here? I can just, you know, kind of like tailor in a hole that's like a little further in and just
Or
make
you
the
can
button come in a little bit more, I think.
move the button.
Yeah, I can
Try
make it
try
come
the
in at the
button a
waist.
quarter inch. Yeah, you can probably pull that off. What I like about that is that you've taken the most expensive element. Well, we know the patches are expensive. Those long spikes, and you put them with studs in between, so you can have your spikes, but it's a much lower cost. Because I'm always looking for because so many goths these days. We're finally again attracting young people. Goth is
Yes.
attracting young people. I think that's with some of the innovations in dark wave and with some of the more experimental stuff coming in, which has always come in. Then we got a real stick up our ass, and I think the stick up our ass is kind of loosening a little bit again. But with that, while we're attracting young people, I always try to keep in mind broke as shit, just no money, having no money. So I like it when I see something like that where you can get those expensive and very, very precious items in there with the other stuff that costs a lot less. Because you can get those pyramid studs for like 100 of them, you can probably get for $5 shipped
Yeah, they're very
as a
cheap.
starter. They're as far as a design element, and you can get 2 or 3 shirts out of those, especially if you kind of spray them strategically around your logos. And I realize now you can't even really see what I've got on. I've got my October Burns black, and it's actually I cut it. Oh, you're welcome for that loud sound. They're actually cut and put together down the side. This is another
Yes.
way to handle plus size when it doesn't come. This shirt did fit when I got it, but I totally tore it up.
Or when you're minus
Yes.
size, so
Yeah.
it's too big. So I have cut away like a lot from the
And
side and
with
just
your
use safety
waist,
pins.
Kelly, taking stuff in, I have stuff where I've got like 5 pins across the back on my Lycia shirt, which is, I guess I didn't think about it because it's one of my favorite shirts. So it's like pajamas to me. So I didn't bring it to this, but I took the waist in the front with some pins and on the back with some pins.
Yeah, I might have to do that with I have a lot of like band shirts that are kind of loose,
Yeah.
especially like unisex sizing. Like for
Hmm.
me, something like this where it's like it's meant to be like a feminine clothing item. It's like
Yeah.
stretchy and form fitting. That works out fine. But a lot of the like unisex, all clothing's unisex, but what they
Right.
call
Right.
unisex
You
sizing,
pricing.
um,
Hmm.
in the t-shirts, a lot of the times it's not like stretchy form-fitting material.
Right.
I need something that's like going to like fit over my bust, but not make me look like a potato sack. So
Yep.
yeah, being able to like pin it in the back or something would be good for the waist.
Yeah. When you're busty and all that's offered is unisex, you will look like a potato sack pretty frequently. So
Hmm.
my recommendation for any unisex shirt, if you're putting it on a more femme shape, is to cut out that collar first of all, because it's an automatic DIY look. You don't have to do anything else to your shirt. The second you cut out a collar, you've got an automatic DIY. And then you can take the collar and wrap it around your wrist, and you've got some weird thing here that nobody else has. I mean, you can be creative. Like, I had a shirt, and I had to use pins and a collar. I'd cut it, but I'd cut it too much because we all do that one when you cut the collar out and if you're not measuring. But I don't know. I don't think I'd ever cut. a shirt that wasn't supposed to hang off the shoulder. So I cut it and it was way too big and I was like, well, shit. So I took the collar, put it back on, then I took a pin and I have a long bar pin. I have several pins and I pinned it to the top of the shirt, which kept the shirt up and on my body. So it's just cutting out the collar to me is like the number one thing on a t-shirt that makes it look DIY before you do anything else.
Yeah.
And
Or
then,
you could partially cut the collar. I see people where
yep,
they cut like the triangle underneath like that standard t-shirt like collar
yep,
ring. If you could cut a triangle like right along the collar, about
hmm
from collarbone to collarbone, turn that into a triangle and it actually has like a very cool effect. It almost like gives it like a choker effect where the collar looks
it
almost like
does.
a
It
choker with
does.
like a V-neck.
Well, and if your shirt fits like a bag, you could go one further, cut your V, slit it down the front, and then just pin it into a good shape. Obviously, if you don't have a logo, you're trying to not cover. If you have a logo, you work around the logo. But that would be for a plain shirt or something if they had the logo here, if you're just putting patches there for a t-shirt. You could do
I
that in the
do.
back too.
Yeah, I do a lot of belting too, and I think
Hmm
I tell people this a lot. If you're not crafty, if you're not handy, or some people just don't even like to do crafts, and that's fine.
Right.
But I think that there's a certain DIY ethos to the way that some people can accessorize themselves.
Big time.
Like
Yeah.
jewelry, the way you combine like different clothing items and jewelry and stuff to put an outfit together, you can really put a lot of your own personality and individuality into that, and that in
Yep.
itself is it's kind of in line with that DIY spirit. Even if you didn't
hmm
sit down and craftfully make something, you
Exactly.
can
Exactly.
accessorize and really customize your look just by
hmm
how you curate the items you put together.
Yep. Yep. I made a belt out of chain, like useful chain, not decorative chain. We're talking quarter-inch thick links, 3/8 inch links, and I put it together with a carabiner, those things that rock climbers use to hook onto stuff,
Yeah.
and hung it off the side on a galabaya, which is a Middle Eastern garment, an Islamic world garment, which was all torn up, and then I'd shredded some and threaded and stuff like that, and it made for just about a horror movie look of an outfit. It was beautiful. I loved it. So I had a simple cotton dress and chain. That's it would be the thing you wear on the plane. You probably wouldn't be able to keep it though, because it would probably be considered a weapon when you've got, I don't remember how much I had, 2 yards, 6 feet of chain, so it hung down like a medieval girdle. Weird, weird crap. Just pull weird crap. I found like
Weird crap,
plant
yeah.
hanger chain, and then I have this like 6 foot long, and I just wrap it around my neck a few times with the two ends hanging down, and just futz with it all night because eventually something pulls enough where it starts choking you. But you've got this weird thing, and you can put your mainstream. What are those tattoo chokers? That's real popular with the
Oh
really
yeah,
young people.
tattoo chokers.
You can put that with your tattoo choker, and you spent like $6 for really modular piece because you could use it as a belt too.
I do like those tattoo chokers because they're very
I do.
nostalgic for me because they were popular when I was a kid, and they did kind of like come back, and they're so cheap. But they're it's like if you want to wear a choker or have a choker look, but you don't want to like you're being casual or you don't want to wear your nice chokers because you're going to be out in the sun all day. Those tattoo
Right.
chokers are great for that.
Oh
So
yeah, Jez actually said wearing all black and ethnically diverse clothing to the airport is an automatic pat down. Both ways, every flight, I get patted down. And y'all, I have a global traveler card. Like I have an extra level of security when I go into the airport and I still get patted down every time I go. Usually both ways. I can't wait. Florida, they're going to pat me down both ways. And then when I ask them questions, TSA in the US is super surly. They will ignore you. It's just
yeah,
Damn.
I had to be pat down one time at the airport through TSA because I had on this top that had this like corset lacing in the front and it kept setting off the like metal detector.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
basically I'm like, well, I don't want to like have to take my top off in the middle of the airport. And they're like, they used the wand on me and they recognized that it was like that, and they did like a quick, very casual pat down. The TSA agents were very cool about it, and she was really nice about it too. She's like, sorry, the metal detectors don't recognize good style. I thought that was cute, a cute comment.
Wow. I had a mega bitch who insisted because I forgot to take off. I have a not Sony. It's an Android watch. I have an Android watch. Um, and I forgot to take it off. I was wearing nothing with metal on it at all. Absolutely no metal. I realized I had barrettes in my hair, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I took them out at the last second, but I forgot my watch. They insisted on feeling underneath my watch, y'all. That's the level I get patted down when I walk through the airport. I don't wear
Wow.
makeup. At the airport. I don't look like this. Okay, my hair might be teased. I admit that. Um, Usually I'm like potato face and nothing because you get on a flight and you're surrounded by dirt all the time. You just got to wash everything off anyway. So I get patted down both ways. I get my bag actually gets opened and looked through everything. And they are really snotty in Florida and Texas that I've had to deal with
Oh.
while I'm carrying a global traveler card and can show my passport because we have to show our, do we have to show our passport? I just do it. I just do it. And it's all marked up that says I have the extra level of security and stuff like that. So there's something about me that apparently that looks really violent.
Mm.
And I'm a middle-aged, y'all, I'm a middle-aged woman. I'm like, I walk through, I got the matronly body. I got all that stuff. I look like I've hugged a million kids, except that people, except children, are generally afraid of me, even when I'm wearing plain, completely plain everything.
It's the goth stuff. It's the
Hmm.
alternative look. People act all kinds of weird ways about it. I will
Right.
say the people at the Pittsburgh TSA and the airport very friendly. This city is so friendly where we are literally Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. So that's
Good
just kind
luck
of the
with that.
culture here. I might not get that same courtesy at other airports. We'll see. That's the only place I've had to be pat down, and that was kind of my fault for not realizing that top was going to set off the metal detector. I should
Right.
have thought of
Right.
that. Like
Yep.
it had all these it had the what you call it, gussets or whatever in it, the
Uh-huh.
like the rings. So
Hmm.
that was kind of my bad, but yeah, that's another good tip for if you like to DIY. If you've got like rings and studs and all kinds of hardware in your clothes, probably not going to make it through the airport metal detector. Pro
Right.
DIY
Right.
tip.
Right. Pack your corsets and put your spiked up leather jacket through the x-ray machine. Let them try to figure out what the hell's going on there. Everything's spiked up just because in the US we got to take off our shoes, we got to take off everything. But you are going to get if you're goth, if you look weird, you're you're going to be profiled. I
Yeah.
mean, they racially profile and
Homeland
I guess they weirdo
Security.
profile. Mhm. Mhm. Yep, all the weirdos. So, and then it's really great to be super extra polite to people. And then I go straight to a bar and start drinking because I got to get on an airplane and I'm phobic.
I feel that
Well,
all too close to home.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
yeah.
but
Drinking
you
The
get
most
through
social
it. You get
element of
through it
it.
though.
Yeah, right.
Caroline, do you have
Perfect.
other DIY projects to show off for us? Okay.
I think that
Okay.
was all. Yeah, I think I got it. I guess except this
Oh, the
fishnet
classic.
shirt thing I'm wearing, which was just
Uh,
old pantyhose that was like too much hole in the toes and the crotch. I hate when they get caught in
yep.
my toes. I cut off the foot and then the crotch rips. Okay, fine, it's a top now, and I do that with all the
Hmm.
hosiery I own, like either the foot or the crotch or both, and I just keep wearing
Yeah.
them
You can get
until they
really
fall
great
off.
patterns on your arms that way. Like if you get patterned hose,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that your toes will go right through.
Yeah, turning pantyhose stockings into tops. That's the
Hmm.
old school classic go to for like the fishnet tops and stuff like that.
Yep. 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 That's super
Michelle,
close.
additional DIY items projects.
Yeah, I saved my fanciest for the last. So this is
Ooh.
one of my
Ooh.
favorites, And if I go somewhere that's kind of nice, it gives that, it's a Love Like Blood. So this is the top. You can see
Oh,
the standard studs and pins.
of course.
And
Very
then
Yeah.
nice.
do things to the logo. But this is why this is so fancy. And people are like, holy shit, where'd you get that? Is the sleeves. And you can't even see how fancy they are.
That
The, the
is
bottom is
so
cut off
pretty.
and this is repinned on. This took a long time. And then I reshaped the whole bottom of it with these fields. I
Wow.
love a field of
Damn.
studs. It just feels so decadent.
The
Yeah,
placement
this.
looks so perfect too. Did you take a lot of like time to make sure that the placement
Oh
like
yeah,
looks like very neat and even?
yeah. The
Because
pins I had to. I think the pins I pinned it together in the back with the sleeves, but the pins took the longest. These you just kind of pack them in, and they wind up using the holes of the one before them if you're doing it right. But this one was a shirt on Good Goth. You can see I've kept this. I ripped out all of the boning. Okay, I'm going to stand up so you guys can see the whole thing. I ripped out all of the boning, cut out the lacing. It had lacing. It had the worst fit of any shirt I've ever bought. And I tried to give it away, and the person who I had try it on is the same size, but I'm caught on my cable. But 5'10", and this is from Good Goth. It is plus size. It had a gap like this above the shoulder. Here, imagine your shirt sitting on you, and you
oh,
have this much space. It was weird.
yeah, that's very
This has
awkward.
You can see it has 7. Well, you can't see 7, but it's got 7 darts. I cut the back open, took it in. It is a very tiny amount of space. It fits exactly. I mean, it fits like it was made for me. These do nothing. All the boning has been pulled out. The shirt, this was on the shirt. The shirt, it's mostly reconstructed. So I redid the back of it, and then I came in and I cut it down, and then I put my fancy, oh, you can see the glue. In my camera, you can see
Ah,
the glue, but not the sparkle. Life is not fair.
uh,
And then the fuck is that? All right, it's got a spot. But I've got the rhinestones on the back, and I put the rhinestones down here on the peplum
oh, I love
with some
that.
bigger ones, replaced what was there. So it's not got as much decoration as everything else, but it's so heavily reconstructed. The only thing I didn't do is pretty much take the sleeves off and completely redo them. And then I have a couple of things that are ridiculously simple decorating items. I couldn't get my favorite one off the wall. I'm pretty sure I nailed it to the wall. Sorry, I gotta fix my carpet.
Yeah.
This is something that goes in my bathroom.
Oh, pretty.
Cool.
There you go. You can see the color. And these are just scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking items, but I don't really scrapbook. I make cards. So these are just, my bedroom is painted a dark gray lavender. So this matches that. And that's from I can't remember, it was the Coffin Box subscription box.
Oh, yeah, I know what one
So
you're talking about. It might be
I got,
just called Coffin Box subscription.
yeah, I'd gotten it right after they weren't doing it individually. Like I had to answer the questions of what type of things do you like? Oh shit, I just knocked this one out. And then they stopped doing it that way. And I was like, great. So I got it for 6 months. I got another one that didn't work out. Oh, okay. Well, this is a little worse for the wear. This is a shadow box that I got this weird Halloween ornament. And then I cut, scrapbooking paper, because you can get a lot of kick ass Halloween scrapbooking paper. And it's just polka dot stuff. You can see how
Oh, that's
dirty it
really
is when
Very
I bring it
cool.
to
nice.
my house. Yeah, and that just hangs on the wall all the time. And I think thus concludes all the crap I have over here.
Nice. Yeah. I do a lot of what I do with DIY is not necessarily clothing items, but I love to do furniture.
Hmm.
So what I do,
Yeah.
and I was talking about like the French Rococo. I like that ornate French Rococo style, but black. But if you want to buy that style of furniture from furniture shops, it costs thousands and thousands of dollars to get like the
Yeah.
black Gothic Rococo furniture. So
Yeah,
what
I have
I
a
do
chair.
is I find old intricate pieces of furniture from like thrift shops and like
Hmm.
furniture, like secondhand furniture outlets and stuff for cheap, and they might be in really bad shape. And maybe the wood is like a really ugly color and it's very like dinged up and whatever. I sand it down, I spray paint the whole thing black, and then I do a coat of polyurethane on it to give it the high
Oh.
gloss finish.
Hmm.
And it makes it look like those expensive websites. I think is it Black Craft Cult that used to sell some furniture and stuff like that for like really
Yeah,
expensive?
I think so.
They're
There's one
overpriced.
called Haunt.
Oh
I
yeah,
have
Haunt
furniture from
furniture.
Haunt.
That's
They're
very
closed, and
expensive.
I
Yeah, I
do
think
not
they're in
recommend.
Australia.
Do
Yeah,
not
that's
Yeah.
recommend,
really
by the way.
expensive.
Yeah.
I can't say
Haunt
that enough. I do not recommend Haunt.
the Haunt
I have
furniture
Haunt.
stuff
It took
so
over a year and a half to
expensive.
get.
Yeah,
Damn.
very expensive. That's the kind of stuff
Yeah.
I'm talking
Oh my
about though.
God.
Don't buy any of that stuff, especially if you're in
Right.
the US. Some of those sites are scam websites too.
Yes,
Like
some are. Haunt is not, but they have issues and they've
there
closed.
there was a website called Absalom Roche that was a scam. They took a
Mhm.
bunch of people's money, like stuff like that. You can DIY furniture that looks like that. Just go to like estate sales, antique shops, thrift stores, anywhere, garage sales, anywhere where
You
you
can
can
get
find secondhand furniture.
wood curlicues at
Just
Michael's and
yeah,
Joanne.
Yeah, I got that cabinet for really cheap because
Yeah.
someone was selling their house and this was all that was left in it. And I got it for like 50 euros and it's vintage from like the 60s and it came to Norway from
yeah.
the US
You
on a ship.
you can
If you
DIY
Damn.
furniture like that for very reasonably priced.
Yeah.
I have all kinds of like secondhand or furniture that I bought secondhand from estate sales, flea markets, those kinds of places, and they have some like nice intricate detailing on them, but they were some ugly wood color, kind of in rough shape. Sanded them down, spray painted them black,
Right.
coat of
Right.
polyurethane for that high gloss finish that you see on those websites. And really cheap. I have some furniture, or I have a DIY video on my YouTube channel if anyone's interested. Candle holders in a mirror that I DIY'd. I got them
Oh, nice.
at I got them at a thrift store for really cheap. I think the entire project was I did the whole thing for like under $30, and now I have this big like French Rococo mirror and candle holders that I have on a wall that have that very intricate like black high gloss sort of haunt furniture Absalom Roche look, but definitely don't order from Absalom Roche, Throne Factory. Any of those websites, they are scams. They will take your money and run. I know Voltaire promotes those websites because they sent him furniture, but of course they're going to send the influencer real furniture.
Oh yeah.
Those websites do scam people. You'll lose your money
Right.
and spend like thousands of dollars trying to get that kind of furniture.
Right. Right.
Same
Just
with
DIY
regular
it.
goth clothing brands too. They do the
Yep.
same thing. Like the influencers get good quality, beautiful shit, and you, if you're lucky, get some really cheap Halloween costumey things, and you've spent like I don't know $100 on something. It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're plus size, you may buy a 5X. You wear a 2X, you buy a 5X, still doesn't fit. I don't know who it's made for, but it won't fit. It's like so cheaply made that it's an exploded size 2. Does that make sense? Because when you grade garments, they have to be graded for plus size. You can't just take Caroline's size and just make it bigger and wider. It doesn't fit right. It doesn't work right. And so you'll see really cheap, shitty fabrics. That's a sad thing about that reconstructed one. That is not a cheap shirt. And I've had other things from that company that fit like they were made for me. So when I bought that, I also bought this pirate looking coat because, like I said, Cavalier, pirate, Baroque, and Rococo are my favorite eras.
Yeah.
And that fits like I had it tailored for me. Well, it
That's
did.
very
It's a
new
little good now, but
romantic. That stuff is like very new romantic because I think
yep.
of like the Adam and the Ants like Stand and Deliver era, like that music video. Like I just love the entire aesthetic of that.
Well, that
Likewise.
stuff was a little bit more mixed back then because people are like, I personally never had a goth night that wasn't a concert that was just goth. New wave and new romantic was always mixed in. So when you go to a goth night and you see new wave and new romantic until it gets to like mostly new wave and new romantic, I'm like, well, this is normal. And about Permanente. God dang it, what
Paralysis
is that band?
permanente.
Paralysis Permanente. Yeah, somebody was telling me in some of the Latin American scenes that's like their every day is Halloween that they open their goth parties with.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
forget what the song is.
probably um Auto Super Fence. Fancy it, whatever.
Yes.
I don't know how to
Yeah, I think
pronounce
that's
it.
the song. I think
Yeah,
that's the song.
it's
I thought it was interesting that you mentioned that band because it's like our what we consider cheesy, but it still kind of puts you
Oh, I love
right
them
there.
though. It's autosufficiencia. Yeah, autosufficiencia.
Autosufficiencia.
I'm probably butchering that as I always do. I'm such a yinzer. I I'm so terrible with like pronouncing like all the I
Yeah, but we
try
can
though. I feel
figure it
like
out.
people respect that I try when I do the quarterly like new music releases. I do like music releases from around the world that I
Hmm.
cover like
Hmm.
once a quarter. And people from the native like or native people from the countries come and correct my pronunciation, but they're usually very nice about it. They're usually like, "Oh, it's cute that you tried, but this is
No,
how
they
you pronounce
appreciate
it."
it because you've heard the saying. What do you call someone who speaks two languages bilingual? What do you call someone who speaks one language American?
Oh,
We're
yeah,
we're known for
guilty.
being jackasses who won't even try to pronounce other people's languages. So
Well, I wish I
they do
knew how to
appreciate it.
speak more languages. I just was never forced to, and that's kind of part of the
Right,
problem.
right. Yeah, I'm trying to learn Portuguese now, and I'm suffering.
I started off with 3
Yeah,
languages.
right now Dave and
Yeah,
Caroline are just flexing on us so hard because they are speaking a second language just by talking to us in English.
possibly a third, fourth, or fifth. Yeah, and
Yeah.
and
Third,
learning
yeah.
a language though. I mean, our parents do us a disservice by not teaching us a second or third or fourth language as children. So we're resistant to it because we don't have to, and everywhere we go, they speak English. That's not exactly true, but people will
Dave and
speak English.
Caroline.
And expectations of Americans in other countries is so low that basic politeness will really get you a far way and learning like please and thank you and excuse me.
Well, one of
Just saying.
the tech companies here in Pittsburgh, fantastic app is Duolingo, very popular, and they are providing a great service with like learning new languages and stuff. I keep saying I kind of want to do German Duolingo because I know I'm gonna make it out to Vigate eventually, but also I know a little bit of French, so I'm like I should probably just do French Duolingo because I was pretty conversational in French at one point, but I just haven't used it much over the years, so I lost a lot of it. But I found that like I can understand more than I would think when like I hear people speaking in French. I can recognize words and like pick up what French people are saying from the context. I can't speak it as well as I can understand it. I used to be able to speak it like better, but I just
Hmm.
didn't use it for years, and I kind of
I
like
say
lost some of
French.
that skill. But it jogs my memory when I hear people speaking French, and I start to remember, recognize certain words.
I say go with the French. Work with what you've already got.
Hmm.
And then I know that English and German are related, but how movies in the US depict how German is spoken and how it's actually spoken in Germany do not sound the same. We have it being very clipped and very sterile, and it's not really a sterile language.
It's
Not that
actually
I heard.
very pretty. I've met like
Hmm.
native German
Hmm.
speakers, and it sounds like as pretty as most European languages. But like yeah, in the
Right.
U.S. We do tend to depict German language as very like blunt and aggressive sounding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Plus, also, Germany has the highest, well, non-Nordic, I think, American fluency rate. Not just speaking the language, but fluent. Most people, I met two the whole time I was in Germany that weren't fluent, like capable of understanding American humor fluent. And I think the northern Sweden, Norway, and Finland are the most fluent in English. I think, if I remember. I don't
Oh
know why.
yeah.
I don't know why I know this kind of dumbass factual stuff. Probably because when I was going to learn European accent Portuguese, it's difficult because there's only 10 million speakers, while there's 220 million Brazilian Portuguese speakers. So you get
Yeah,
interested in stuff like that when you realize you're going for the less spoken dialect. It's not a dialect, but
yeah.
you know what I mean.
I believe that Caroline, when
French.
you speak English, your accent is very subtle. You sound like you
Mhm.
if you told me that you have been living in America for years, I would believe you because your
Mhm.
accent is very subtle when you speak English.
Yeah, when I worked in Disney World in Orlando, people wouldn't believe I was Norwegian at all because they were like, "You don't speak with an accent." Am I supposed to speak like this? Will this convince you? Like,
Yeah, but there's jokes about how we can't tell Norwegians are not native English speakers until we've talked to them for a while, until there's a grammatical thing that's not wrong, just different enough than how we usually speak, because your accent is known to be one of the best, closest to American English accents, besides Canada, obviously. North American English.
Yeah. Well, circling back to DIY, we've got a few minutes left here. We got 5 minutes left. I think a good way to close out is if we want to recommend to people watching this who maybe don't want to spend the time to be crafty or make things themselves. Handmade, and we touched on this a little bit earlier in the stream, but maybe we
Hmm.
go over some handmade vendors where people can go and purchase handmade items that have that DIY quality to them. And we've mentioned Junkyard Bat. I think we would all recommend Junkyard Bat, our buddy
Hmm.
Jason's shop. Like I
Hmm.
said, you can use code Cadaver to get 10% off. I don't get anything from that. It's not like a sponsorship or commission. Jason just gave me a code to give to people who follow my social media, and I that that was very cool, very beautiful work, quality jewelry.
Right.
Some of the most beautiful chains I've seen on jewelry. Very
Agree.
solid and durable too. It's so durable for
Hmm.
costume jewelry. Most costume jewelry is a lot more flimsy than that. So I would
Yep.
recommend Junkyard Bat, Studio 777. That's
Hmm.
Jez's shop. That's on
Right.
Etsy. I would recommend Luciferothica on Etsy as well. I would also recommend Horabelle on
Hmm.
Etsy. There's
One.
also a DIY punk shop, which is a local Pittsburgh venue called Cobra Cakes. So that's another one on Etsy to check out. So, Michelle, how about you? Additional recommendations?
I'm looking to see what I've got. Well, you actually named my favorites. So let me go. See, I should. Fuck.
Oh, there's also Wonderland MC on Etsy. Really cool, really over the top, intricate, like statement necklaces and stuff from there.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm trying to find.
there's a whole
Okay.
lot of good ones these days.
Yeah, Dave, any recommendations from your end?
Uh, no, the ones I was thinking of suggestion has already been said. Jess
Oh,
and
Vida
Junkyard Bat.
Noir.
All right, yeah.
Vida Noir is one of the ones I was. I'm not looking at any of it. I was going to my favorites in Etsy, but my Etsy kicked me off for a while, and now I can't seem to get to my favorite shops.
I
And
dream of
Favorite shops.
owning a Vida Noir piece at some point. I actually
Yeah,
found
same.
like one of those neck pieces like for sale used here in Norway, but the seller got the size wrong, so it was completely huge on me, and I had to return it. It was so sad.
Oh, that
Um,
sucks.
when it comes to other places, oh yeah, yeah. My friend
oh,
Josie makes
Josie.
this stuff. Her shop is called ayamedesigns.com. Like she made these
Yeah,
guillotine
I
earrings.
I need
Ayame.
those. I need. Yeah.
I need a glasses chain. That is
Yeah, she makes them for face masks
beautiful.
too if you don't wear glasses, so you can still rock this cool goth grandma look.
I need the guillotine earrings in my life. Like
Oh yeah,
those
I
need to
get
get in
so
my
many
closet
comments on
immediate.
them. Like
Yeah,
either
those need to
people
get in my closet
absolutely love
immediately.
them, or people are like, are those guillotines in your ears? Yes. And they're
I
like,
love those
I
earrings.
need it.
all
Yeah,
right.
I need them.
Okay,
There
there's
was
I
a shop I heard about recently, Blasphemy Clothing. I think they have some official band merch, but they also have like stuff that looks like DIY band shirts and stuff like that.
Oh, same thing with Vera's Eye Candy is another one where they
Oh
have like
yeah,
very
yeah.
DIY looking like clothes and stuff, like band T-shirts,
oh,
like movie
blasphemy's
merch.
blasphemy's on
Yeah.
Etsy.
Oh yeah,
Okay, there's
The
Blasphemy is
thing with
good. What?
a lot of Etsy for me is that the shipping is really ridiculous. I think that's an automatic
Yeah.
thing. I
Yeah.
don't think you can get around that.
No, shipping is really bad to some places, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
Italy, I think, is super bad right now for Italy to the US. And there's another country that's really, because I order stuff from all over. Okay, so White Stag is a little Etsy shop that does stickers and bookmarks, little coffin shaped bookmarks.
Cute.
Adorable, adorable. I'm looking at corset stickers. So there's stickers, bookmarks, just little stuff that it's fun when you open your latest Aleister Crowley biography and there's your little coffin. Gravedigger candles. I think I ordered beeswax rose candles. Absolutely beautiful. And they have some really good shapes. They have other stuff. And I'm trying to find Hysteria Machine. That's it. Hysteria Machine makes some things you hang on the wall, but those intricate masks that just cover your eyes, you can actually see through them. I have one of those. It's absolutely gorgeous. Lovely quality. I mean, it's a mask, so you still have to be careful. I mean, it's a hard mask. So it's like tchotchkes all over the mask. Beautiful, beautiful work.
Yeah.
Let's see, I have a lot of tarot stuff in here.
There's the Crypt of Curiosities is another jewelry one on Etsy.
Yes.
And definitely if you're looking for DIY stuff where you just want to buy it made but you want it to be handmade, and check Etsy, and that's great because you're supporting an independent crafter. You're helping them to sustain their art, sustain their craft. So it kind of keeps the arts alive. And that's the nice thing about like goth and the underground world. And we talk about this all the time. It's very grassroots community. So if you want something like the types of clothing and stuff you see in the clubs or whatever, but you don't want to make it yourself, there's someone who will make it for you. You can buy it from them, help support their business.
Right. Exo Umbra is the plus size shop.
Oh,
they don't have as much right now, but if you have a weird sizing thing, like I have these smaller shoulders, if you contact that shop, really, really cute. It's like made from t-shirt stuff and it's heavy. It's pretty durable stuff. Exo Umbra does some plus size, but they've only got 2 things in the shop right now.
Moon Maiden clothing is another one.
Yep, that's a good one.
Oh yeah. Looking for my Etsy. Young Bat is a good one. Flez, Flez, is a good one for a lot of bat stuff. Bats, Bugs, Bones. Michael Couture Latex, really good latex.
Are these
a lot
all
of
Etsy?
bat-shaped stuff there too?
It could be Etsy or handmade. Oh, there's Dracula's clothing, right? Is it Dracula's clothing? Yeah, that's
Dracula
handmade
clothing. The owner's Norwegian, and he has some really good tailors in Czech Republic, and they do it all there.
They don't
and
he
designs the stuff.
They do plus size, but they do up to a small 2X plus size. Yeah. So beware if you always read the measurements, especially if you're in the US or Canada, read the measurements of a European sizing because their sizing is actually a little bit closer to the standardized size from the 80s.
Yeah, I never buy anything unless it has a size chart because I'm like, what's a small? What's an extra small? Because sometimes I can be like triple extra small, apparently.
Yeah, there's some places in the US you could buy off the rack because you'd be a double zero.
I also Shrine
double zero.
Shrine Hollywood. Very expensive, but Shrine Hollywood.
The vest my husband wore for the wedding is from Shrine. We splurged on that.
Yeah, so if you have money to throw around and you're just looking for like quality handmade stuff, Shrine, very pricey. They have some of those jackets and coats they make are beautiful, but so expensive.
Yeah,
it was like $100 for that vest.
But they are handmade.
Bone and Busk.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bone and Bust?
Okay. Gorgeous. Bone and Busk?
Bone and Busk.
In Canada, that's DJ Kate Hate Muir.
Oh,
DJ
okay.
Hate Muir is an accomplished corsetier. Anyway, you're going to pay, but I have one garment, and it is beautiful. And of high quality. So that is also, you're not going to get it out of there for under $100 on anything I think I've ever seen on that site, and it's worth every penny. Meticulously well made, just like this Hollywood shrine. Holy crap!
Yeah. Beautiful stuff though. It is you're going to pay for it, but it is handmade. I mean, I wouldn't pay that kind of money for something manufactured, but if I really wanted to splurge on a nice handmade item, I could justify spending that kind of money a lot more for something handmade like that.
Right, right, absolutely. So the hard part is that some of the stuff I've acquired like that, we've been in the COVID the whole time, so I haven't worn it
The
anywhere. Because the one
COVID.
time I go out, it's freaking summer and it's 8,050 degrees, and I'm sweating in my leggings, probably leggings. I live in leggings. I'm feral. I'm feral at this point. But so wearing a burnout velvet is too hot. So it's still sitting there waiting.
Yeah, that day will come. Uh I think we're running up on the hour here. Michelle, thank you so much for being our guest on this month's Gothy Roundtable. And we did push this episode out a week. So I mentioned this earlier to remind everyone. Next Gothy Roundtable is going to be the last Sunday of the month. What is that? The 29th?
29th, yes.
Yeah, it's going to be the 29th at noon Eastern, which is 18 Central European time. Our guest is going to be DJ Kelly-A, and the topic will be building a local goth scene.
It's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
well,
so Michelle, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Skullgirdle.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
And indulging me and showing my 4,000 tons of crap.
Yeah, this was fun. Fun show and tell. We always love talking to you. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone in the chat who tuned into this live. Thank you to everyone who's going to watch it back on my YouTube channel. We appreciate our viewers who tune in every month. And until the next episode, thanks everyone.